Hi, Shawnee.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm chilly.
Yes, it's been surprisingly kind of dampish these days.
Yeah. And it's the wind. I don't understand it. I don't remember it being like this all the time.
Oh, well,
Uh,
we out here on Lake Helena Drive, we often get a lot of wind, so it's really not new for us.
yeah. I was out walking up in the Upper West Side and around Mount Helena yesterday, and it was really nice up closer to 6 o'clock. It died down a bit. But
Yeah.
I guess we'll see if give a couple minutes and see if Sandra joins us. Otherwise, you might just be stuck with me.
Oh, okay. Well, if you don't mind, because I can always do a yoga DVD. I have a number of those or other things too. So
This is good for me too, as long as if you don't mind, because it gets me to work, makes me work out too.
all right.
Because the odds are if I went home, it would not happen.
Yes, I have been so surprised that I have really been doing about 45 minutes or an hour most days, and that's something I used to never do. But when I'd always have to have a class in order to work out, but now I'm actually doing something. So
Good for you.
that
That's
is
good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's best that we don't interrupt the habit.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So I really did want, oh, there's Sandra. I really did want to use some pelvic and rib cage stability. So I am gonna use this ring. So if you have like anything that, you know what they feel like. So if you have anything that you could use, like maybe a ball this size or even a pillow. I mean, it's okay to not use anything and to just use your own resistance. But I really want to use a little bit of, even if it's mindfulness.
Yeah, I've used for when I was watching some of your videos before. I used either a pillow or some yoga blocks,
Oh,
depending on
blocks.
what. Yeah.
Okay, good. So get those handy, and then maybe for stretching, sometimes like we use this to stretch our legs. Sometimes maybe you get a strap or something, like a yoga strap.
I have one of those too. Yes.
Okay, good. Then I'll tell Sandra the same when she gets on. I saw that she was trying to, but now I don't see her anymore. I better get my phone to make sure she's not texting me having trouble.
Okay.
I think she lives out of the way a little bit too, so maybe it.
Yeah, I'm seeing her living room on my screen, but she's just not there.
Oh, I don't even have, oh, there it is. Okay. Now I can see it. The stage is set.
Yeah. Just waiting for the performer.
Yeah. So Shawnee, do you think, are you planning to come back to the studio at some point, or are you waiting for phase 3, or what's your plan?
Oh, I'm definitely planning on coming back. Even for phase 2, they are recommending that people over 65 stay home.
Yeah.
And technically I'm just 65, but it's not something I'm comfortable splitting hairs about at this
Sure.
point. So I'm going to wait at least until they've lifted those recommendations.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think it's best to err on the side of caution because when things have been lifted, it almost seems like in town and stuff, things are busier than they were before, kind of like the overcorrection. So,
Could be. And then if they're not quarantining people coming in from out of state, they no longer require the people out of state to quarantine. That could be problematic, but we'll see.
yeah.
We'll see.
So, Sandra,
Yes,
I
I did hear that.
okay.
Somewhere in the basement is my yoga block. I can't put my hand on it right now. So
Okay.
that'll have to wait. I'll use a pillow or I'll, do my
Okay.
best.
And then do you have like a strap for stretching?
Well, no, I never had that. So,
Or any kind of belt?
I could, well,
You could stretch it with your hands, I suppose.
you just tell me what I should look for next time, and then I'll try to be prepared.
Okay. All right. Well, these are always good to have.
Now, a belt, though, is a large belt. I mean, one of my belts I wear on my body wouldn't be wide enough.
Well, I'm just thinking anything that will help you stretch, because do you do stretches at home?
Okay, so I'll go get my belt for that. I think that will work.
Or like a bathrobe or a bathrobe strap, anything that you normally use to stretch with.
No, I haven't gotten into that routine. I'll be right back.
I was going to get a ring, and way back in March, I did order a squishy ball thinking that might be a good prop. And of course, it took quite some weeks to get it. I have it now, but I don't really know what to do with it. But I was wondering with the ring, is that something, do you have an extra one that I could purchase from you?
I'm pretty sure I do.
Okay, because I was going to go early on, I was going to go, or I contacted Target. I was going to ask them if they had it before I went down to the store and ran all over the place in the middle of the stay-at-home restrictions. And they said, well, there was a recording, I think, that said that the employees cannot go look for items, which I thought was kind of strange, because if there's ever been a time when you want to have employees looking for items instead of having a lot of customers running around the store, this would be the time. But they weren't doing that, so I just passed on getting the ring. But if you have one that I could purchase, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do. I just have to check at home. I don't have much room here, so I have everything in my spare room at home, so I just need to look. But I'll let you know right away.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, I could buy a ring.
Yeah, these are good for you to have anyway. But
Yeah.
okay. All righty then. So we're going to start on the floor, laying down. So I will, and a lot of it's just mindfulness. I mean, you guys know this well enough that you know what we're trying to contract. Sometimes it's just helpful to have an extra tactile stimulus. It's not like we're trying to mash it, in half or anything. So, okay, so I will do my little muty thing here. Okay. And okay, so we're just going to start laying on your back, and we're going to stretch your arms and legs out as long as you can. Just pretend I'm pulling you, just like on the reformer. And we're going to think about your right side first. So we're going to stretch your right arm and your right leg away from one another just as far as you can. And we're focusing on the length between your hip and your rib cage on that right side mostly. And then trying to maintain the length on that right side, we're going to lengthen the left as well. Then we'll do that a couple more times, stretching one side and then the other. And we're focusing on that area again between the rib cage and the hips, this area that doesn't have any bony structure around it, just soft tissue. So we have quite a bit of play there. We can really stretch. Okay. And then we're going to bring the arms around. And we'll let your hands rest on your rib cage, just kind of where those bones stick out. Bring your shoulders away from your ears. And you can let your legs be long or you can let them bend. And establish your neutral spine. So if you need to adjust at all, you can do that so that you can feel where your natural curvature is under your back. Now we're just going to think about our breath for a minute. And so with your ribs under your hands like this, you can really feel the sideways, side to side movement of the rib cage. So as you breathe in through your nose, we're going to feel your hands come away from one another, out to the sides. Trying not to shrug up into the shoulders, just out to the sides of the ribs. And then as you exhale, you'll feel your hands come closer together. Those ribs come in toward the center. Inhale, feel the hands come apart. And exhale, feel them come in together. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your lips. And a couple more times, bringing in just as much air as you can, really using that to stretch all those muscles that line your ribs. Getting them as wide as you can, big balloon blowing up in there. And exhale, every last drop of air comes out. Okay, and then we're just going to return to a natural breath. So with that breathing, we can really feel a lot of activity in there in the rib cage and the abdominals, right? So then I'm going to take the ring. You can use a pillow or your yoga block, and we're just going to put it in your legs. Or if you don't want to put anything in your legs, that's fine. It's just, again, a stimulus to think about the pelvic muscles a little bit more. So we're still in that neutral position of the back. We're going to take that same breath in, feeling the rib cage expand. And as you exhale exactly the same way, we're also going to pull up in the pelvis, almost like you have to go pee and you're holding it, pulling it in. And those muscles are going to squeeze the ring a little bit. And we'll inhale through your nose. And exhale, squeeze. So it doesn't really matter if you have a ring or something else, because we're not trying to squish the ring. It's just there to give your mind something to think about these muscles squeezing. So we're not using your legs or your glutes. And squeeze. You just want to feel this whole area, your whole powerhouse active. Okay? So then we're going to add some curls to that. So with that stability, we can add the little curls, which just make those muscles a little bit more intensely focused. So we'll breathe in, bringing the arms up. These are like simple arm presses like you would do on your reformer. Keeping the pelvis flat, we'll start your exhale and we curl. So when you look down, we'll notice that we have not tilted your pelvis up. We've kept it flat, and we'll come back down. And exhale, curl. Bringing the shoulder blades right up off the mat and back down. Exhale, curl. Remember, you can touch your space bar if you have a question or anything. Curl. We're shortening the distance between the rib cage and the hips, like an accordion. And curl, nice and easy. We'll do 2 more this way. 1 more. And then we're going to keep this same pattern, but we're going to do a full circle. So we're going to exhale and come up. As you lay back down, we're going to sweep the arms around. Exhale, up and over, and sweep. Exhale, up and over, and sweep. 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 1 more. Up and over, and sweep. And now we're going to reverse that. So we're going to scoop up and back, and 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 scoop and back, and scoop and back, and scoop and back, and scoop and back. We'll do 1 more. Scoop and back. Good. We'll bring your arms down. We can take the ring out for a moment and put it down to the side. And we'll stretch your legs back out, just lengthening this back out again. And then we're going to think about the obliques, so these muscles along both sides of your waist. Let's take your right knee and we're going to bend it. And we'll bring your right arm up. We're thinking about where we can feel your elbow on the floor. You can use it if you want to. You don't have to. But if you need it, you can. And we're going to think about contracting and pulling up, bringing your right arm to your toe. If you need to bring it, your knee bent a little bit so you can touch your shin, that's fine. We're going to come back down. And the reason for this is so that we can focus on really pulling low in the abdominals rather than up through the neck. So we'll come up and down. We're doing 10 on each side. Breathe out, making sure that we're never holding our breath. Good. And remember, you can have your left arm on the floor. And down. And up. We'll do 2 more, or however many you have left. I don't know where you are. I'll do 2 more. And we'll stretch. Okay, so then when we bring the left leg to the bent position, we'll have the left arm lifted, and we're going to come up, feel where your right elbow is, and we'll come up, oops, and lift, and back down, and lift, and down, and lift, and down, and lift, and lift, and down, and lift, and down, and lift, and down, lift, and down, and lift, and down, and lift. 3, and 2, and 1. And we'll stretch. Okay. Now we're going to take your strap for stretching, You can leave your one leg long or you can bend it. I'm going to bend mine. And we're going to put the other leg up in either your strap or your belt or whatever you have found, rope, the stretch. And we're going to start with your knee and your hips soft. So they're pretty bent actually, so that you can make sure that with a relaxed shoulder and neck that you're in a neutral spine. So we've got that natural curve, a very heavy sinking tailbone. And the top of your foot is flat. I'm going to try and move this just a little bit. Maybe see me a little bit better. About the same. So the top of the foot is flexed as though you're trying to put your flat foot right on the ceiling. And so for me, that means my knee and my hip are pretty flexed. They're pretty bent right now. And then as we exhale, we're going to press that flat foot through the heel straight up without compromising the space under your back. So I'm trying to push my hip down into the floor as I'm lengthening the heel up. So it's this oppositional stretch. I've got two directions going. And then we soften and lengthen again. And soften and lengthen. So it's like this mini squat because we're hinging at both the hip and the knee, lengthening back up because we want the stretch to be in here. And we want to do it without borrowing length from your back. Stretch. A little shake there with the stretch is good. We're getting it. Stretch. We'll do one more. Okay. And then we'll do the other one. You might even feel like I can feel blood flowing into my foot there, and that little extra opening things up. So we've got the heavy tailbone, foot is flat, up toward the ceiling, and we lengthen up, stretching through that flexed foot. At the same time, we're pressing the hip down into the mat. Soften, press. Soften and press. Soften and press. And press. Good. So we're really mindful of these hamstring muscles. When we bend your knee a little bit, we're stretching the quadricep. When you lengthen and stretch your hamstring, you're contracting your quadricep. They're oppositional groups. They work together. When one is stretching, the other is flexing. Stretch. 3. 2. And do one more. Okay. We can bring the ring to the side. Okay, now since we don't have a reformer here, we do want to engage the legs a bit. So we're going to do some leg presses as if we had a reformer. So we're going to start with, let's bring your knees in, and then we'll bring the legs to tabletop. We'll pretend that our heels are resting on the bar, hip distance apart on your heels, perfectly centered. Arms long at your sides. And we're going to exhale, come up into a curl. Protect our back. We've got the abdominals engaged, and we're just going to do some leg presses here. So we're going to exhale and press and press. Just keeping those legs really engaged. Pretend there's a lot of resistance. Press. We're just making it up. And press and pull. And press and pull. Press. Pull. Press. Of course, the abdominals are pulled in, belly button's pulled in. We're keeping the head up over the shoulders, looking at your belly button so it doesn't get heavy. And press and pull. We'll do 3 more. And 2. And 1. Tuck, and the head comes down. We'll just turn it side to side, releasing any tension in your scalene muscles. Okay, back to tabletop. We're going to do heels together, toes apart. So we'll pretend that your toes are now on the bar. Exhale up into your curl. And we're going to press, zipping up the legs and in, and press, and in, and press, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, one more, and 10. In and down. Okay, so now we have our toes pointed. We're going to have toes on the bar. So no flexion anymore. Just feel the stretch along the tops of your feet. Keep that flexion. And we'll come up and curl, pointed, and press. Big stretch, and in, and press, and in. Press. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in, relax. Okay, we only have 2 left. We're going to stretch your hips open. You can give them a little bit of support from your hands. Can you stretch and rock for a moment? And we're going to start with your feet flexed again. Okay, so we'll be at your heels. Pretend your heels are on the bar wide. Exhale up, looking at your belly button, and we press, and in, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10, and in, and down. Okay, and very last one, we're going to be on your toes, also wide. The heels are lifted, feel the stretch on the tops of your feet. Curl up, and 1, so more like a plie, really feel that pelvic squeeze. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 10, and in, and down. Good. Okay, so then we're going to roll over onto your tummy. Actually, not quite tummy. We're going to be in a plank. Go to tummy in a moment. Okay, so from your plank, we're going to bring your shoulders back. Your hands, your wrists will be right underneath your shoulders. And we're pressing your fingers into the mat, particularly that index finger. Just think of that as your pressure point. And let's see, let me make sure I'm on one whole mat here. Bring your legs out. Okay, and then once you're in your plank, shoulders back, we're just going to do leg lifts. So we keep the hips nice and still. And 10 times, we're going to engage the tummy and lift the right leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll come down to your knees and stretch. And then from here, we're going to go up into, it's called an inverted V in Pilates, or a downward dog, basically, in yoga. So we're going to tuck your toes under and press back. So once you're here, you've got your ears between your arms, and we're pressing your sternum down toward the floor and your weight back over your heels. Okay? And then once you're there, all we're going to do is, and this is a little bit tricky, keep your weight off of your wrists, and we're going to lift your tailbone up to the ceiling and lift up onto your toes and lower your heels. And so we're lifting up and down without rocking forward, just straight up, straight down. So that takes a lot into the pelvis and lower abdominals as you lift your heels without rocking forward. Straight up, straight down. Straight up, straight down, up, 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 up. And we'll do 2 more, and up. Okay, then we can just bring your knees down and we'll stretch for a second. And we're gonna do inverted V push-ups. And I don't know that you've done those before, so we're just gonna walk through them slowly and give them a try. Okay, so same position. Okay, and this time we're gonna take your hands and we're gonna turn the fingers in toward one another. Okay, so your fingertips are facing one another. The crown of your head is straight down toward the floor, and we come up onto your toes. So we're this really nice high V shape. And then we bend the elbows out to the sides. The top of your head comes down toward the floor, and we push. And down, and push. And down. So it's the same idea, where instead of rocking back and forth, we're coming straight down, straight up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And knees come down, and we stretch back. Okay, so that's an inverted V push-up. Now we're going to give the hands a rest, and we'll come around. Tailbone was getting a little sore, so I'm just going to this mat here. Okay. So then we're just from here, we're going to roll into a few more abdominals. Pull your knees in. And we're going to move up into some knee changes and things. And when we do those, we want to make sure that your head is lifted as high up over your shoulders as you can so that it doesn't get tired. Okay, so we're going to hold on to your knees and we'll curl up. So you can use them for a little bit of leverage to get to your position so your head's nice and high. And then we'll bring one leg out as we pull the other in, and we'll switch and switch and switch. So classic knee changes. We do these a lot. And switch. Shoulders relaxed. And switch and switch and switch. Okay? Now we're going to bring your hands behind your head so that we can continue just turning the rib cage a little bit. Switch and 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 switch. Pull the knees back in again. And you can always use this as kind of a resting point because you can take a little rest when you're holding onto your legs. From here, we're going to bring the arms and legs out and around. So your upper body doesn't move, just the limbs move. Stretch and around. 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 One more. Stretch and around. Now we're going to bring the legs to splits, and we're going to do little pulses here. Pulse, 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 pulse. Switch, 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 switch. Switch, switch, looking at your belly button. Switch, 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 switch. One more on the right, one more on the left. Tuck the knees in and down. Okay, now we're going to take your pillow or your yoga block, grab my ring, and we're going to hold it at your chest. Well, you can stretch your legs up first, stretch your belly. Okay, so when we're putting the ring in the legs and we're contracting down here, that's pelvic stability. because we're engaging the muscles that are responsible for stabilizing your lower back and your hips and your pelvis. So when we direct that same idea to the upper body, we consider it ribcage stabilization. So we'll do that. So when we hold your item right above your chest, we have your elbows so they're almost touching the floor, but not quite. And your thumb and fingers reaching for the ceiling. So they're on the outsides of your thing, so you're not gripping. Shoulders away from your ears. And just the way that we started breathing in the beginning of class, the same thing. We inhale and feel the ribs expanding side to side. Imagine that your ring or your pillow or your block is expanding as well. And when you exhale, imagine that it's contracting with your rib cage also. And all the muscles inside your rib cage and your back are helping that ring to contract. Big breath in and exhale. So it just gives a little extra something for those muscles to squeeze against. Big breath in. Exhale, squeeze. Big breath in. Exhale, squeeze. Big breath in. And squeeze. One more. And squeeze. Okay. So now moving on to that, we're going to bring your legs straight up toward the ceiling. We still have that neutral space under your back, and we're going to turn your legs out so they're heels together, toes apart. Pelvis is tight, neutral space under your back. As you inhale, we're going to open your legs out to the sides. As you exhale and squeeze your ring, we flex them in. So we're squeezing everything between the rib cage and the hips now. Inhale, open, flex and squeeze. Inhale, open, flex and squeeze. Elbows hovering. Inhale, open, exhale, squeeze. Continue with your arms up high, shoulders still planted on your mat. We're going to add on one more time. On your next inhale, bring the ring back as the legs are opening. Exhale, curl. Bring the ring towards your shins or your pillow or block. Inhale back. Inhale back. Exhale, curl. Inhale back. Exhale, curl. One more. Bend and come down. Okay? And then we have just one more thing here. We're going to put the ring or your block or your pillow or nothing in your ankles. If it's a heavy something you have, don't worry, don't put anything in there. Actually, let's not worry about it. Let's put the thing to the side. We'll do it without. So we're going to have heels together, toes apart, just as if we were squeezing something, but we're going to squeeze the legs together instead. Strings are tight. Okay, so we're going to have your arms long at your sides, and we're just going to take a breath in and exhale, come up into your curl here, and inhale back down. Arm presses just like we started. Exhale, and back, and curl, and back. 3 more. Curl, and back. Squeezing the backs of those legs together, keeping the legs high, squeezing the pelvic floor with your exhale. On this last one, curl up and hold it. You can bring one hand behind your head if you wish. Inhale, hinge the legs down. Exhale, hinge them up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. 3 more, lower and lift. 2, and lift, 3, and lift, and bend, and down. Okay? Now we're going to take this, your block or your pillow or your rig again, and we're going to put it in your legs just above your knees. And we're going to reestablish neutral spine and feel the pelvic floor again. We'll bring your feet maybe just a little bit closer to your glutes than they were before. So this time, even though a yoga block doesn't have a lot of give, and a pillow has a limited amount, we're going to give things a bit more of a squeeze. We're going to let you use your adductors, the insides of your legs, and your glutes. So with your arms resting at your sides, we're going to take a breath in and exhale and squeeze with not only the pelvic floor, but your legs and glutes as well. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. There's 3. We're going to do 10. Exhale, squeeze 4. Exhale, squeeze 5. Exhale, squeeze 6. Exhale, squeeze 7. Exhale, squeeze 8. Exhale, squeeze 9. Exhale, squeeze 10. Okay, now we're going to add on again. So this time we're going to take a breath in. Exhale, lift your hips, squeeze, release, and down. That's 1. Lift, squeeze, release, down. That's 2. Lift, squeeze, release, down, and 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 lift, squeeze, release, down. Last one, lift and squeeze, and then we're going to hold that for 10 more deeper squeezes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we're going to do 10 little lifts through the glutes. So we lower a tiny bit and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we'll roll down bone by bone. And we'll get rid of that and take in the stretch. And then we're going to roll on up. And then we'll bring your legs around and we're going to come onto your tummy. And we'll have your legs out about hip distance apart with the laces of your shoes on the floor. And we'll have your arms out kind of in a long diamond like this, shoulders back. Okay? And so your neck is long and just kind of lifted like this. And so we're thinking about, so you can kind of feel where your ribs are on the mat, you can feel where your hip bones are, and abdominals are actively sucked in toward the spine. And we think about length always first. And so with a little bit of support from your arms and a very long spine, we're going to do it like 3 levels of lifting the thoracic spine. So we think about low, which is, we'll do a little bit of a lift, a little bit of pressing into the floor. And then medium, we'll lift a little more. And then high, we'll lift a little more. We still have support from the floor, and we're still lengthening the spine. And we'll come all the way back down. And we'll do that again. So we'll go low, we're still really long, medium, still really long, and high, challenging, and back down. And we'll do that again. Press low, A little more. And a little more. And down. And again, low. A little more. A little more. And down. And one more time. Lift. A little more. A little more. Hold. And down. Okay? Then we can put your hands one on top of the other to bring your forehead down. Neck is long. Okay, and then with your legs both lengthened, we're gonna just engage the upper body so that you're not just kind of soft across the mat. We're still feeling lifted and strong in the back and abdominals. We're gonna isolate your right leg, never letting your hips leave the mat. So we're kind of squeezing from right below your glute and down, kind of from here. So the right leg first, we're gonna exhale, lengthen, lift, 1, and down, 2, really squeezing that glute, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the left one, lengthen, lift, 1, 2, 3, shoulders back, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now heels together, toes apart, actively squeezing. We're going to lengthen and lift both. Always lengthen first. Lengthen and lift, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold. Now we're going to open and in. 2, in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then quick little beats for 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Good. Okay, then we're going to bring your arms back out to that long diamond, and we'll sweep your right arm around, grab your right foot, bring that left arm in a little bit so that you can press and stretch. So we're stretching the quadricep. Make sure that your thighs stay lined up. We don't want to bring it out to the side. We'll release that one. Sweep that arm around. Bring the left one back. Come back. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and press back into a lower back stretch. And we're going to come forward onto all fours. And we're going to do cat and cow. So your knees are directly, so our knees are directly under the hips. And your hands are directly under your shoulders. That didn't work out very well. Okay. And then we pretend that you have a string that's pulling your navel straight up toward the ceiling. So when it does that, it pulls up and the tailbone comes down and your head comes down like a rainbow. And then we're going to keep that string. The string is still pulling you straight up toward the ceiling, but then we're going to lengthen the crown of your head and the tailbone out. And then again, that string, it continues to pull up, but we bring the head and the tailbone down. And that string keeps pulling. And we bring the tailbone and the head up. So no matter what, the belly button keeps pulling up toward the spine. You never just let it hang down toward the floor. Always in control. We'll do that one more time. Belly button is still pulling up, the tailbone tucks, head tucks. And we lengthen. Okay, and then we're gonna imagine which, if we were gonna do a bird dog or a tiger pose, which arm and leg would you automatically want to extend first? And let's do the other one. So we've been practicing doing our awkward side first, and we're gonna hold that for 3 breaths. Keeping the standing arm elbow soft. Ensure we don't lock it. And we'll bring that arm and leg in and switch. Should be the easy side. And come in and switch. Weird side again. And easy side again. Sit back and stretch. And then round your back, tucking the tailbone in this position. So we just feel the stretch across here. Then we'll bring the legs around. We're going to sit up with your legs out in a long diamond. And so with this, you can use your yoga block, or you don't have to hold anything. We're thinking about entire spinal stability. So feeling your sits bones evenly on the floor, I like to use the ring for this, but you could use even just your arms and just pretend you've got some energy built up here between your hands. And we've got the shoulders down. So once you think that you're sitting tall, think about that space between your hips and your ribs and imagine that you could lengthen it even more. So that'll bring you slightly forward of your midline even. Okay. So then in that position with the shoulders relaxed, we're going to take a big breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, feel the rib cage funneling down. And at the same time, we're zipping up the pelvic floor. So in effect, your spine is lengthening up toward the ceiling, but the shoulders and the back are funneling down. So we're lifting, getting taller, and the shoulders are dropping. And every single muscle between your shoulders and your hips is active, like a corset, just zipping up around your spine. Breathe in and exhale, sit tall. And feel all that work around the middle. We'll do a couple more. I feel that especially back in here. Okay, all right, keep your arms here, shoulders relaxed. We're going to move into 3/4 of a roll down. So even with your legs out here in a long diamond, we'll take a breath in, and as you exhale, we're going to tuck your tailbone and start to roll back. Seeing that C curve. And inhale, prepare, exhale, roll back up and into that That's that stable spine. You can try inhaling to come back, exhaling to come up, or you can exhale both ways. But always exhale to come up into that tall spine. And when you go backward, relax those shoulders because they're going to try and hike up around your ears. A couple more. Okay, we're going to bring the ring in or the pillow or your block. Shoulders down. We still have the thumb and fingers reaching away, and we're still sitting up just as tall as you can. Face you for this. And anytime you look down, we want your sternum to be centered right in the middle of whatever it is that you're holding. So your arms only move with your rib cage, meaning they're not doing any of this business. So we're sitting really tall, and as you exhale, we're going to rotate to the right and to the center. Rotate to the left. So you can only rotate as far as your rib cage because your arms, of course, could keep going, but we're not interested in that. Back to center. Rotate. Center, shoulders down. To the left or whichever way you're going. Imagine that you're getting taller as you're turning. So you're actively engaged in the pelvic floor, always just trying to lift. So it's certainly not just a relaxed side to side. We're very much engaged and working. Make it as easy or as challenging as you want. We'll do one more to keep. Good. We're going to stretch forward. And stack back up. Okay, and we can put that to the side. We're going to come on to whichever side you naturally go to, depending on your position. I can't see you guys right now, so we're going to put one hand underneath your head, your elbow on the floor. And so we'll line up your body with your mat, and we're going to have your hips hinged so your legs are slightly forward. And we're going to externally rotate your top leg. And then we're lifted underneath here. We're not going to be pushing up and lifting like we did the other day. We're just going to keep it real still. And we'll bring this top leg up. And we're just going to allow this arm to help stretch it a little bit. And I don't think you can see my foot, but it's pointed. And then we're going to flex it to bring it back down. And point it to come up, flex it to come back down. And point and flex. And point and flex. And point and flex. Point and flex. And point and flex. And point and flex. Point and flex. We'll do 3 more. And 2. And 1. We're going to roll onto your tummy. And we're going to extend your arms out. Shoulders back. Legs about the width of your mat. And we're going to swim. Our good old swims. So we're going to balance up on your hips and your ribs. Arms and legs out. And we're going to start paddling. And we'll inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 2, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, last, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, last, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we're going to be on the other side. Hinge slightly forward. Externally rotate that top leg and we'll bring it up and stretch it. You want to have that space underneath your waist. Point your toe, flex your foot down. Point up and flex. And point and flex. Point and flex. Point and flex. And point and flex. 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 Last two. And good. Okay, so now we're going to bring your legs to parallel. And we're going to do the front, the 2 kicks and the stretch back. But again, we're not going to be pushing up on your waist. So we're just going to practice holding your hips really still because it's the hardest one to hold the hips still on. So we do that point, point, flex, back. Point, point, flex, back. Holding your hips and your pelvis just as still as you can. Point, point, flex, back. 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 We'll do 2 more. Good. From here, we're going to go into big range of motion circles. 2, 3, keeping those hips still. 4, 5, 6, other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down, staying parallel. We're going to lift that leg 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We can lengthen out that long arm and we're going to lift both legs together. 1, 2, 3, 4, contracting here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. So we'll line your back up again, legs slightly forward. And we're going to start with the front ones. So we hold the pelvic muscles really tight. And just squeezing everything to hold it still. And we'll do point, point, and flex. Point, point, 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 flex. Last 2. Point, point, and flex. And we'll go into those big circles for 6. And 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. And reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and single lifts. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Put your other arm down. We're going to contract right up here, lifting both legs together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And down. We're going to roll onto your tummy. Stretch all the way out. Just like we started class, reaching one arm and one leg away from one another on one side and then the other. And bring your arms around underneath your shoulders. Press to your knees and back. And we'll tuck your toes under and push all the way back onto your heels. Up here in the picture. Good. And then stretch up, bringing your nose towards your legs. And we'll soften your knees and your hips a little bit. Tuck your tailbone so you feel that stretch across that lower back. We'll start to roll up by pressing your tummy into your spine one vertebrae at a time. Once you're up, stretch your arms all the way up to the ceiling, dropping the shoulders and lifting your sternum toward the ceiling. And all the way around. We'll roll your shoulders around a few times. And back to center. And I will, there. Good job.
We survived.
How'd
I'm getting
you,
stronger.
you feel good?
Yeah, I'm getting stronger bit by bit.
Are you feeling stronger in your abs?
Yes, my arms are still weak. I have, on my off days, I'm doing those counter push-ups.
Good.
And I'm also using the wedge to help.